Oh, should we say something? Oh, hey guys. Oh, sorry, it's been a while. Hey, NXT just went off the air, and you know Unpopular Review is gonna go on the air right after NXT goes on the air, off the air. So join me and Sabrina Estell as we talk NXT. Hey, guy backstage, can you hit that lovely intro for us? How come I can't hear the fucking music? Oh,
And we are live on the air discussing all things NXT. It just went off the air as my lovely companion who is back for the nights has mentioned. It is I, Sabrina Stella, rocking the last of my Pride stuff because Pride Month is almost over. Insert sad face here. But we are graced with the presence of the one and only Great Grand Slam Puma, who is on another form of using technology to be on the air tonight because if he uses the other form, this website is cursed. So he just sounds a little different today. So I've done it before myself, so we're just gonna work with what we got.
Sabrina Estella, I'm glad to be back. I wanted to come back a few weeks prior, as you know. Our women's champion is one Jacy Jayne. I wanted to come on for the show, but no one could hear me. Then I said, I'm going to come back eventually. I did say a few months back I was going to be back, but technical difficulties is what's held me back. But I'm back, baby. I'm here to talk NXT. I'm here with one of my favorite co-hosts right here, one Sabrina Estella, and I can't wait to talk about Jacy Jayne. Although she was not as featured on the show as much as I would have liked, but she's our women's champion. Life is good, and if you don't believe that, drink some orange juice or apple juice, which either one. They're both good, and if you don't like either one, you're Squidward. Thank you for all that silence.
Well, we just gotta let word get out with everything. So
George, we got George. He says just to let everyone know that I'm at a hotel until I get my apartment. That's lovely, George. You're in a hotel, all right? And when you get your apartment, let us know. So good stuff. Jeffrey says the gang. Yes, the gang is back. NXT. I want to give a shout out. Freckles was with you and he was hosting for a bit. I know Matt the last 2 weeks he was helping out as well. So I want to thank all the individuals who were helping out my co-host here and carrying on the NXT show. Matt did such a great job. He hit me up immediately on the side and said, "Hey Jack, I did the show. It was cool, and I definitely made sure to shout out Jacy Jayne. I said, "Good job, Mad Dog." Mad Dog's in the chat right there. What's going on? He says, "Hey guys, hi Mad Dog." But Sabrina Stella, I mean, these guys are very excited for us to talk about NXT. Why don't you open up the show? What happened? What was the opening? Real quick before we do it, let me see if I got this all correct here. Hey, if you're watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching that on X, hit that repost button. I would have done all these things, but I can't because I'm on my phone. Oh, we have a lovely visit. Wave, Mr. Cat. Mr. Cat is here. I realize my guy here, he likes pancakes, but I just don't think he wants me to ever have any kind of sense of food. Say hi to the people, Mr. Cat. Don't you embarrass me. Sabrina Stoll, what's going on NXT?
well, besides now we get the return of Mr. Cat, which makes everybody that watches happy again. They showed some promos of Jada Parker, Izzy Dame, Lash Legend, and Jordan Grace, the four powerhouses for the powerhouse match to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship match at Evolution, duh, and how they each are all going to win. which I don't remember the exact ranking I made last week as far as my ranking. I believe I put either Jada or Jordan first based on everything. George, technically, Izzi is a powerhouse. She doesn't do a lot of high flying and stuff. She uses her brute strength.
Yeah.
It's like if you were to try to make Charlotte Flair and create a wrestler page on a video on your video game, but just taller and not as overly muscular. But anyways, we started off with Trick Williams versus Josh Briggs, and we heard everybody chanting "Whoop that trick" once again. So I guess they all don't mind that Trick Willie took a trip to first class at TNA and at NXT. Which I don't know how much I enjoy first class, considering I wore one half of the team shirt last week and
You
said
told
that
me,
my
yeah.
months and I would like their shirt for my birthday. Anyways, match was good. Briggs and Trick have some decent chemistry. There were some moments. He, of course, had Ina Moore on the side watching, since he is the one who gave Briggs the opportunity to go against Trick Williams in his place. And you hear the commentators in the back talking, like saying, like, why did Ina Moore give up his opportunity to go after the belt, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like, we found out what one of the reasons why he gave that opportunity to Briggs later on in the show. But I mean, match was a pretty good moment. I mean, Trick won for the most part pretty clean. So I mean, you can't fault him on that. And then when the match ends, he gets on the mic, get the music, he's saying he went from carrying him, if you know, you know, to carrying two brands at once. And I guess he watched a clip of AJ on Instagram saying that Trick Williams is the greatest heavyweight champion of all time.
All time.
He says he's the greatest and he doesn't even go here, basically.
That is pretty badass, if you ask me. Um,
Well, I mean, AJ did say that the tops of TNA were Trick Williams, himself, Casey Navarro, and Rich Swann. And then, as he's still talking, say his name, and he appears, and Steven's face, well, actually, Steven got so upset he went out the door, found a plane to fly himself to China, and dug a hole from China back to home because he was that annoyed that Joe Hendry appeared. And instead of Joe Hendry just running up to attack him from behind, he literally was just like waiting, like yelling, like, turn around, turn around, turn around, and then start hitting him and beating him down.
what was the sound effects? Who was? It sounded like someone was getting mauled. Uh, this match was good. Real quick about the match, I think Josh Briggs is actually pretty good. I don't want to say he's over or underrated. I do think the man delivers a really mean big boot. And when I was looking at him deliver a big boot, and I'm interested in hearing what you guys think. I think someone who delivered a big boot so well was Tess back in the day. And I think Josh Briggs is kind of in that conversation of giving boots. Um, really good stuff here. I didn't expect Josh Briggs to win, of course, but I feel like a lot of times because people get upset, like, oh well, what's the point? This person's gonna lose, but I think he's gonna look strong in defeat, and I thought he looked pretty damn good. And I think Josh Briggs has been in a lot of great situations where he ended up looking pretty solid, even in defeat. Um, the Joe Henry stuff. So question, I don't want.
I didn't know why he was there either, but it turns out he won a number one contendership match to go against the TNA World Heavyweight Champion at Slammiversary, which is why he showed up and appeared and attacked him, even though, again, he just was yelling for Trick to turn around. So,
That's such a wrestling trope. I'm getting all this notification on my phone, and I'm very annoyed. Leave me alone. I'm on the show. Um,
you're just so popular.
no, it's just X just telling me, hey, the NXT show is on. I know that, X, because I'm on it.
Anyways, after that, we get a real good demonstration of attempting emotional and psychological abuse in Charlie Dempsey because they're bickering back and forth. Tavion was injured in training today by Charlie, and he's showing Ren a video of what happened and what he had to get done afterwards. And she's like, don't show me, it's gross. I'm like, well, this is what happened because Charlie Dempsey hurt me during training day, and he did this on purpose because he doesn't want me to leave the same way that Miles decided to become his own man and left the group winning fair and square.
You know, like,
And
can we be honest? Do you think Charlie Dempsey's in the wrong here? I don't think he's in the wrong here.
I absolutely believe he's in the wrong. If someone
You
wants to be
know,
their own man and stand on their own 2 feet on their own ground, then so be it. The
Sabrina.
only person that he's able to fully that he's gotten on his side completely is Ren, and God bless her soul. Hopefully, she
She's
snaps out of it
very loyal.
eventually.
She's very loyal to the brand. Um,
Well, I mean,
it was,
she forced herself into that brand, so that's why she's so loyal.
and you know what? She's been, trying to keep this group together. I don't think Charles Dempsey's in the wrong. He just don't want to see his friends leaving him. So yeah, I don't blame him for hitting um, height
Tavion.
mouth. I mean, I know if one of my friends was getting ready to leave, I'd punch him in the mouth too and say like, "Hey, we should all stick together." That was a song from High School Musical. We're all in this together. Was Zac Efron, and there was other people in that movie. I just don't know who they are.
Well, he says that the doctor cleared him for tonight and that he's got a protective mask and
And
that
what kind of
nothing
doctor is this
should.
though? Sabrina, don't you think this doctor's kind of out of line here? Like you're cleared. Meanwhile, he kind of got punched in the mouth. I know everything I just said led up to this, and I might contradict myself, but the doctor's kind of in the wrong to be like, "Yo,
We
hey,
stitched up your mouth, you're good.
I love the WWE doctors. They're fantastic. Trust them for any kind of medical advice. Totally.
I mean, apparently you don't need to do much to be approved to be a doctor over in the skits in WWE. But after that, we get Miles Bourne chatting with some of the guys from the Florida Gators, it looks like. I don't follow football, so do not ask me. People you would have to ask on this channel that follow football would be Mike Knox, the man who runs the show for the Intelligent Wrestling Fan, or Dice, who is one of the wardens on the SmackDown Penitentiary.
Mhm.
And Lexus King rolls up and he, for starters, acts like a jackass, like he is. And he
Yeah.
speaks really loud to the deaf guy and he offers advice at saying, like, oh, you and I are so much alike. And Miles is like, I'm not interested in your advice. And we're not alike at all. You are your father's son for sure. Everything you've done, like, you just took in shortcuts and cheated your way to get what you wanted. I've worked my way up and earned everything that I've gotten. And he calls the football players losers, and they get mad and they get in his face, and him being the scared little white boy that he is backs away and says,
Oh,
I'm not interested, and walks away.
yeah. I think they're gonna have a match next week, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm not. Are you yawning? Okay. This cat was yawning. You caught my attention. Cool. Nice.
Well, after all that, we get Javon Evans versus Tavion Heights, and match was pretty good. I have nothing against it. We got the OG Bouncy Man, and then we got the one member of
No
the
protection.
NQCC who is just there and is trying to fight his way out of being just there. And I mean, I have nothing against this match. It was fine. I'm not really interested story wise because the NQCC kind of bore me.
Yeah, you never
And
been
then
big.
after it was over, it got somewhat interesting because Jasper Troy, who got annoyed by Javon just existing, beat him down. And the president of the I Hate Javon Evans fan club here on Unpopular View would have very much enjoyed that bit because they can't stand Javon for the life of them.
I like Javon. I like the young man. He's a pretty solid in the ring. Match was cool. I don't think it's anything that I will go back and go like, man, this was crazy and whatnot. But it was a solid match. Poor Tavian Heights, right? He sees his man Miles. He gets his freedom and he leaves the group. I mean, these are all adults. Like you could just leave, bro. But rustling and the bubble and stuff like that. Jasper Troy, I thought he had a really um, impressive encounter with Obafemi a few weeks back.
Do you
Uh,
mean before or after he dropped him on a car windshield because he needed to have some type of upper hand before fighting him?
I'm talking about during the match. I thought it was a pretty good heavyweight, meat slapping meat kind of match, and I know everyone's gonna sit here and say pause, but it was a meat fest. Um, it was a good match. He has an impressive look. I
Well,
don't
I mean,
watch.
he won season one of LFG for a reason, and season two is coming out soon.
I didn't watch LFG. Maybe the next season I'll try to give it a shot. It's kind of hard to watch all this stuff because there's so much wrestling and so much content going on. It's hard to keep up with it. But he has an impressive look. The thing I get out of Jasper Troy, I think, because I had to look up the name right there, is that he had one match, and all this dude does is just beat the hell out of people. Look, so he's beating up Javon, and I know later we'll talk about it later. I won't jump too far ahead, but he beat up Enamori. Um, the only thing I get out of him is he gives me Braun Strowman. What was it, 2017, 2018, when he kept saying Roman to Roman, "I'm not finished with you." That's the kind of vibes he's giving me at the very moment. We got Sed in the chat, so what's going on, Sed? He said, and I don't know what this came about, but he wanted us to know he does not watch AEW.
No, he's not saying he doesn't watch AEW. He's saying don't watch AEW.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I said that. No, yeah,
We don't. I'm not going to say we don't slander the product. We do discuss the other product at times. I'm not going to say to not watch it, but people have their interests. If they want to watch that product, they watch that product. If you don't want to watch it, you don't gotta watch it. Just
look,
don't tell people
you know
what they
what's the
can't watch.
if I could be honest here, the beauty about what's going on in today's wrestling, there's so much wrestling, there's so much content. So if there's
There's
something that
something for everybody.
if you don't like WWE, there's TNA. If you don't like TNA, there's AEW. If you don't like that, there's I don't even know they have
NWA,
a
there's
channel,
New
but
Japan.
MLW they have a organization. New Japan.
I got a couple people I know that are in MLW, so
There's a guy there. We're supposed to be going to a show this Thursday. I'm supposed to meet up with Evil Dose and Steve. I believe it's this week. And there's a guy. He wears a mask. He's a really tall dude. I don't really know his name because I've only been to like two MLW shows. But he's just a big guy with a mask. And it was funny. Someone tripped over. He some guy tripped him and he just choke slammed him. And I said, "This is why I love wrestling because if you only in wrestling you can get tripped and you can DDT somebody. Elsewhere you would you'd be told there's the door." What did George say? Nah, we slander AEW. Nah, I don't slander it. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's cool.
we give our opinions, and if we don't like something about it, we might bring it up. But these things happen, and someone's experiencing technical dip. Oh, there we go. But after all that, we get a little recap of what's happening with the D'Angelo family, with some social media news of Noam Dar unfortunately getting injured, and he was had to strip the Heritage Cup, and the match that wasn't going to happen because Stax got his opportunity to go after the Heritage Cup happened because Luca put it together to get a match for the vacant cup. And he says he's trying to earn some of Tony's trust while claiming that, while Stax claims that Luca is his consigliere. And I do not know if I am saying that right. I do not watch a lot of mafia stuff, so I try my best. Okay, so while the great Grand Slam Poobah tries to figure everything out, I guess I am somewhat being joined by one half of the founders of the Unpopular View brand, the executive consultants, unless he's just standing in. I can't hear you either. I don't know what is going on. I've said it before, I say it again. This website is cursed. This streaming apps that we're using, it is cursed.
Oh, that's nice. Can I be heard? Lovely. Okay, take the floor. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We were just playing a little stalling game and the executive was holding your spot. But anyways,
I
that's
apologize about that, people. He should never hold my spot.
well, we're all just trying our best and at least we're here. Anyways, we had Ricky Saints versus Ashante the Adonis because Ashante has nothing going on for him as far as storylines or anything ever since he got dumped.
Well,
And
that's
he was
karmic.
going up to Ricky claiming that they're very much alike and that they should work together or do something or blah, 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 after Ricky had an encounter with the frat pack and Ethan Page, aka the Vanity Project from Evolve, but I prefer to call them the frat pack because they look like just your average college frat boys in every college movie that you see. But I mean, match was fine. It was a quick one. It wasn't super long. All I know is Ricky swept the floor with Ashante, which was nice to see. And then after all that, Ethan Page comes out. A video pops up on the Tron so that Ricky can see, but he comes out and attacks him from behind because he has nothing better to do and claims that Ricky gets on his nerves and he just has to attack him. You really can't hold in your anger and practice self control for one day?
Um, Match was fine. I think it was pretty quick. I mean, it was clear that they wanted to give Ricky a win here. Put him back on the winning bracket. Ashanti, he's actually funny to me. He had this thing on, I think it was IG, and it was like this reality show thing, and I guess a bunch of women were trying to win his love. Ashanti's a hilarious dude. Um, I thought it was actually really cool how Ethan did the video thing because when they had that glitch, I kind of thought that Black State or Dark State,
Dark State.
State Farm, I don't know what the name of this group name is. The same group that a lot of you guys be saying online that they're the new Shield because y'all y'all only know two wrestling groups. But that's what I was thinking at first until I realized, oh, that was a glitch on purpose to throw off Ricky. I thought that was actually a really cool touch, honestly. So yeah, no, the match was quick, so I can't really rank it and say, 5 stars. I could take you down. I'm not gonna say that, but it did what it needed to do. Dark State, that's the name. There we go. Some people call him the Shield. Jack, no, no. What says that Jade should? What did she say?
That Jade should have made quick work of Roxanne, that they can't book Jade for Sugar Honey Iced Tea. First of all, the point of why must we always have it be quick work just because one person is big and one is small? Number two, the point of Roxanne holding her own and actually lasting in the ring with Jade longer than 5 seconds was to show Judgment Day that she would be a good addition, that she would work hard, that she would do her best to fight for every opportunity that she gets. So why is it a big deal if Jade Cargill didn't squash her in 5 seconds? They haven't done Queen of the Ring for a few years. So let them do it and let them give these women something to fight for and to fight longer than 5 seconds. If you
I
want to
think
watch 2 minute matches of women's wrestling, go back to 90s and early 2000s WWE if you want to watch that.
I think there's a time and place for it. I don't think that was needed in that particular match, and I think also too Jade could benefit for having more reps and longer matches because she's not going to always have 1 minute, 2 minute matches or however less you think it is. I don't have an issue with that. I think Roxanne is someone who like she should be getting squashed. I just think that's I just don't like that take so much. So yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I kindly disagree, sir.
Well, I already said exactly how I felt, and everybody knows how I'm about women's wrestling, which is why I'm going to be doing what I'm doing next month at that convention. But we get to Dark State that cut a promo saying
Yay!
that basically saying like just because that y'all forgot about us, that we've been gone, that we're not anything to worry about, etc., etc. Basically saying we're coming back and we're going to take down everybody one by one again, like they have been. After that, apparently, Joe Hendry stylist got with Oba Femi because they gave Oba a yellow orange version of Joe Hendry's shirt to wear to the ring, and black pants and black shoes, basically making him look like the polar opposite of Joe Hendry, which he already looks like as far as being a big black man with long hair that is natural, not dyed anyways. And he talks about his title reign and how he's defeated all comers, turning capable contenders into footnotes on his legacy, and now he sits comfortable atop the pedestal. That this is where it gets dangerous, and other men might coast and bask in the euphoria of their victories, but the ruler isn't any man. He gets restless when there's no contenders because he craves the fight, he enjoys it, he embraces it, and he needs challengers and welcomes anyone who thinks he can stand up to the ruler himself. In enters Yoshiki Inamura, which the crowd started chanting the second he stepped out. And he says he came to NXT to chase glory. But when it didn't come, he went home to Japan and realized everything he would have missed. His partner slash best friend Josh Briggs, and also NXT as a whole because he loves NXT, the culture, the passion of the fans, and he wants to pay us back by becoming the NXT champion. He wants to go bigger. Obafemi's certainly bigger, and so is that title he's holding because that title is the face of NXT. Obafemi says they have some things in common, being strangers in foreigners in strange lands, and that he made his place his home a long time ago, and that he has thrived, and that is where they're different. You had your struggles and left, but the NXT universe embraced you for coming back and turning the tide with the smile on his face, but that he cannot fool Oba. He sees beyond the smile. He sees the fighting warrior underneath, the spirit that craves the fight. And fighting for the crowd's honor is a big mistake because when you face the ruler, you fall like everyone else. And Inamura gets in his face and says, I am ready.
No, he's not. No one's ready for Femi. It was a good promo. It was all right. It was cool. I know it was touching back on something last week. Amori, he said, he gave up his shot to go for the TNA Championship and said, I want to go for the NXT. Japs, is it Japs the Troy or is it Troy? I want to make sure.
Jasper Troy.
I'm just gonna say the very very angry guy named Troy, Angry Troy. He comes out there and he just destroys him. I really don't want him having a rematch against Oba, not because I don't think the match would be cool. We just got it. I don't think we need another match and he loses to Oba because I just don't see him in any. I don't see in. I don't see him taking the title off of Oba. I don't see him as the guy. So that's my only thing. I know next week him and Amori are gonna have a match. Pretty sure it'll be a solid match. I just sit here and go like, okay, so he wins and then what? That's my question for you. Japster Troy. All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. He made sure that he put a few exclamation points. All right. Listen, this is my first day back, Jeffrey. Don't give me a hard time. I'm doing the best I can. George says the Troy of Jasper. That's actually really good. That was actually I never like giving George any kind of credit, but that was damn good. That was actually funny. That made me tickle. Mad Dog says, did you guys see a few of the LFG recruits on tonight's show? I know I saw Xena. Is her name Xena? I'll make sure I got the lady.
We'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay, listen, she's running the show here, folks. I'm just sitting in the seat, and I have no headphones. I can do the spin. Look at that. Ah, shit! I'm sorry, I knocked something down.
Anyways, now I'm going to be honest. I was watching on a website because I'm not paying over $100 for YouTube TV. And unless they find a way to stream it on the CW app or on Peacock or something, that's where I'm going to stick to watching. And it cut off for me quite a bit, so I didn't get to see this part live that was happening, but thank goodness for my notes and the website I use because it helps me. So we have Tatum Pax in the back, and we have Izzi Dame coming in to chat with her and gives her a gift and asks her to be in her corner for the main event. So Ruka and Zarya come in, and Izzi snaps at Zarya, saying that the title her best friend holds is as close as she's going to get to that title. And she just walks off because she has to start all the drama. Izzi walks off, and unfortunately, Tatum followed suit and walked off with her. And they ran into Nico Vance and Sean Spears. And Izzi introduces Tatum to them and they say that they have their eyes on some gold of their own.
Yeah, we know what that means. You're going for the tag title.
I wonder how Tatum is going to try too hard to fit in with the culling this time.
I was thinking about Tatum, right? I know she's not officially a part of this group, but I feel like she's been in some way, some kind of capacity with a bunch of groups. I remember,
She has been since the start of her career.
there we go. I was thinking,
Then teaming with
right?
Lyra, then teaming with Gigi and Shotzi before what happened, and now the culling. And every time she's
Words
worked
right
with
in my mouth.
somebody,
Yes.
she's always tried too hard. So now I'm interested to see how she will try too hard with the culling.
I don't think she's gonna try too hard. I think she's gonna be herself, and they're gonna get
She,
annoyed with
she
her.
winds up trying too hard, whether we see it or not. She always does. And unfortunately, Izzi is going to play this girl like a fiddle.
Absolutely. I I I I agree.
So after that, we get Trick Williams backstage, sitting after the high of his match of retaining his belt, and the High Rise, so stupid name, come backstage and they get berated by Trick, and Wesley informs him that he's going to be whooping Joe Hendry's ass next week. And Trick, calling Wes his little brother, which I find very funny, says that he likes the sound of that and tells him that if they take care of Joe next week for him, that he'll owe them. And who's the leader? Sean Spears, but Izzi is
She's taking control.
dipping her claws into it.
Very much. Fun segment. I said fun segment. It was a segment. I mean, we get to see Wesley. Um, I really want the best for Wesley. So, I mean, the fact that we get to see him on TV, that's cool.
Well, they take what they can get and they try to make it work in the best way possible. I say they try because some people do successfully do that and some people do not.
Sure.
And Jeffrey just asked if Wesley forgot how Trick slapped him months ago in the locker room with the hangers.
I mean,
Guess what?
if you watch
Guys don't hold
wrestling
on.
enough,
Some guys don't hold on to grudges like girls do sometimes.
I was gonna say if you
We
watch
can remember
wrestling,
stuff from like
um,
years ago and still hate another girl for that. But guys, they'll fight and they'll be cool.
I was gonna say, if you watch wrestling long enough, I mean, wrestling has always been this unique bubble of entertainment, right?
Oh,
Where
I just mean in real life too.
and like how he mentioned Wesley that he forget. Stone Cold got ran over by Rikishi, and remember who set him up? That was Triple H. And you know what happened a few months later after the reveal about Triple H and he set him up? They were a tag team. Do you guys remember what that tag team was called? The Power Trip. So he teamed up with the guy who set him up. There's so many other moments. There was a period of time where we started cheering for Kane, and did we not forget that this man was burning people? So wrestling has always been this. Stone
Everybody
Cold,
flip flops. Everybody flip flops. That's the
Stone
end of
Cold
the day.
shook
Everybody
hands with
flip
Vince
flops.
McMahon. My point exactly. But go ahead. I'm sorry. You
So
want?
now we have our favorite kind of match in NXT, which is the NXT Heritage Cup match with Tony D coming up by himself versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo coming in with his new entourage.
Mm-hmm. That was an entourage for sure. The white shirt entourage.
Pretty much. And I do know one of those that is in that entourage, the one that was standing in the corner by himself, who is
Mm.
now selling white t shirts with his logo on the back on Unforgettable Vision.
I wasn't a part of it. I know I'm wearing a white shirt, but I just so everyone know I wasn't there. But carry on.
Unfortunately. But I mean,
Yeah, I don't want to be
match was
part of
fine. They were going to have some decent chemistry like we expected. And nobody got a pin in the first round, but second round, Tony D gets the first pin on him with the spear. And then
it.
after,
Good spirit too.
yes, and round three, we get D'Angelo kicking Lorenzo away, but Lorenzo kicks his leg out, knee dropped him across the neck, and gets a cheap shot in between the rounds. And then in a matter of seconds, gets a pin in round 4, tying it up 1v1. Whereas Rizzo in hiding. Round 5, they keep going, and there was some action happening outside of the ring. And the other guys get involved, and Luca tries to stop him, and he hits Tony with the bucket, and it looked like it hit his back, and I was like, how does that knock somebody out exactly? Because it didn't look like it hit his head. It looked like it hit his lower back. I'm like, how does that look? How does that knock somebody out? Can someone explain the logic to me in that? I know there's no logic in wrestling sometimes, but that made it zero sense to me. And with that, Stacks becomes the new NXT Heritage Cup champion holder, whatever. And as the match is over, Stacks is celebrating, as you can see from the picture we used for tonight's show. And Luca helps Tony up, and Tony D drops them down on the ground. And he doesn't trust Luca or Stacks, and he leaves.
I'm not big on the Hertage Cup rules and stuff like that.
Neither am I.
I think this match was terrible. It's just that kind of takes away from me personally. Um, Luca. I have to call him Bad Luck Luca because every time I see this guy, he's trying to help Big T, Tony D, and every time something happens where he's getting hit in the back, I mean, this guy, I wouldn't even trust him if I was in the kitchen cooking because there might be a knife in my back. So Bad Luck Luca continues the trend of being bad luck. I want to get that going. Bad Luck Luca. I don't think he's joining with Stacks. I think it's going to be revealed that, and I want to give a shout out to Jeffrey and the chat here because I saw last week. Forgive me because you shared lovely stuff with me on X. I'm just not as active there, but I saw a tweet that you put, and you said, "What if uh, Rizzo is a part? Like she's behind all this." So I'm beginning to think that she might have something to do with it. Tony's going to realize that Bad Luck Luca is actually the good one. So yeah, Bad Luck Luca. That's what we're going to do. Bad Luck Luca. You can't even. Oh no, yeah, Jeffrey's saying the best. Oh, he'll burn down the kitchen, right? Yeah, he'll cause a fucking grease fire. I don't trust this man. Like this man, he always goes down. Like I could see myself giving him like, hey, look, I got math homework. Don't ask why I got math homework at 37 and it says 1 plus 1 is, I say, oh, look, it says 1 plus 1. And he'll tell me 3. I will trust him and watch me be the laughing stock of school. I don't trust you, Bad Luck Luca, at all. I'm keeping my eyes on you. He's the kind of guy, he'll mop the floor. Don't put a wet floor sign there. You'll fall and just, I don't know, suffer an elbow injury or something. We'll get that going. But yeah, I don't trust him. I saw someone said, welcome back, so thank you. I didn't get to see that, so thank you kindly. I'm glad to be back here because I have a lot of stuff to say. Once again, I'm in a good mood. I had a bottle of water. My youngest nephew graduated today, so I'm very proud of him. And Jacy Jayne is the women's champion. So nothing can ruin this great moment going on. Put this on your calendars, everybody. Bad Guy Jack's back in town, baby. Now let's keep going.
And speaking of things that'll make your mood even better, we had Fatal Influence being interviewed
Ah,
backstage.
Vicky
And
and
they
friends,
talk
yes,
about how they showed Blake Monroe where she fits in the division.
good.
And they do ask her about evolution and about the fatal four way to determine who's going to be her opponent over there, how she feels about being part of it. And she talks about watching the first evolution as a fan and thinking if there was ever going to be another one, she was going to be damn sure she was going to be on it.
Absolutely.
And here she is as champion, having her opportunity to wrestle on an all women's pay per view, which wrestling fans have been asking for another one of since 2018. And we got it! It only took 7 years, but we finally got it.
Can I take the floor here once, Sabrina Estell? I am in such a glorious and fantastic mood. You know, JC is going to defend that women's championship at Evolution. I look forward to watching that. I think a lot of people didn't think this would happen. I always knew this would happen, and the time is now. Blake Monroe, Mariah March, Mariah, April, whatever month you want to call her, she got what she deserved. She tried to, everyone sit here and they talk about the new flavor of the month and all that stuff. And it's nice until you reach the end of the month and the flavor is not tasting the same like in the beginning. So I love that Jacy Jayne and friends put her through a table, taught her a thing or two. So, you know, Blake Monroe. I learned, it took me a while that little intro video that they did for her. I didn't know that was from Sabrina Carpet, so I learned something new.
From
Um,
Sabrina Carpenter, you mean?
I don't think she's a carpenter. I don't believe that. I had to look at her resume. I don't believe she does carpenter things.
The
I could.
only thing she is a carpenter of is making good music.
I
Anyways,
like good music.
yes, it is very good music, and she won a couple awards at the Kids' Choice Awards that happened not that long ago. I only know because I've seen pictures on social media. Anyways,
Hold up, no, don't. You don't have to talk right by that. Listen, listen. I don't. What is someone going to do? Suspend us? You
I
saw the
don't know.
Kids Choice Award?
I didn't watch it. There's pictures on social media that show who won what,
Oh, that's
and she
been.
won
I'm
like
glad
two
that that's
awards.
still. I'm glad that that's still going on. I mean, I'm a little.
Actually, two or three.
Huh?
I actually think she won two or three awards: female breakout star and best album.
There was somebody on the Kids Choice Award. I don't know if she got nominated, but what's her name? Spice Ice. I
Ice
was sitting there.
Spice.
I'm gonna get these names right one day. But I saw her there, and I said, okay. I'm pretty sure her songs are
I
not
don't
kids friendly.
remember. I will send you the thing with the winners later when I find it. But after that, we get the moment with the LFG kids that Matt had brought up. And so here it is. We have Thea Hill talking to a bunch of them about her trials and tribulations when one Miss Lainey Reed tells her that she's getting played like a fiddle and to calm down. And Thea gets in her face and be like, look,
Calm down.
you don't know me. Don't act like you do. And they start getting in each other's faces and being aggressive. Lainey's pretty much just like turning into a bona fide heel right now.
Mm.
I don't know too much of how she was on Level Up, if she was a face or a heel, so I can't say. But Lash Legend comes in and tells him to save all this for later and solve it later because right now you need to watch the bougie bully get things done as she's walking off to go to make her entrance for the main event.
It's fine. Some cool stuff there. I'm honestly just really ready to talk about this main event. So why don't you lead the charge here?
I mean, we're going to get to the main event real quickly, so I will speed through the rest of the segments as fast as I can so we can discuss it. So while Ethan Page is walking backstage, being the arrogant, egotistical man that he is, and that
Mhm.
people know and love him for, when he's not on YouTube putting up videos about his toy hunts and conventions and such, Ava confronts him, being like, what the hell was that? And he says that Ricky got what he deserved and he's trying to be on his best behavior, but Ricky keeps pushing my buttons and that he deserves all this and blah, blah, blah. And Ava's like, that's pathetic and I'm sick of this. And he says he's sick of it and she just has to make sure that Ricky stays far away from him. And she says, well, too bad you're not going to stay far away from him because next week, both of you are getting your asses in my office because both of y'all are the problem and we're going to settle it then and there. And he says he's going to settle it on his own terms. And then he gets on the phone to call out the frat pack. Oh, I'm sorry, the Vanity Project.
Hmm.
Then after that, she's running over. She hears some noise, and Hank and Tank are laid out on the floor with no signs of who attacked them. Joe Hendry gets interviewed backstage. He says he thinks about losing the title to Trick Williams every night, but he's focused on winning his title back at Slammiversary. And he says that Wesley forgets where he came from. If you know, you know. But he's going to remind him next week.
Yeah.
And then we
Oh,
get one more. We
sure.
get a vignette of this one's least favorite thing in NXT,
Oh.
where Andre Chase says that
Ah.
Kale Dixon last week was 100% fact, and they all need to toughen the FUCK up. And Uriah Connors
Duck.
the son of Fit Finley, says that he is tripping and is creating a toxic environment. And Andre says that they need to respect his experience, but Dixon says that attitude created Chase U and it destroyed it. And then they leave, and then Andre Chase has a flashback and considers what they say, and then they hype up next week.
Honestly, I actually loved the flashback. I thought I was watching a damn Garfield cartoon when I saw the little bubble, and he thought about when he had to be expelled. Yeah, there's a few things here. Can I just the two things I wanted to digest on.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give a shout out to Jeffrey here because Jeffrey said he got his first notification. I want to say it was tonight from Ava. So shout out to you, Jeffrey. Shout out to you too, George. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to you guys. Miss you guys. But Ava, Ava, I know you guys missed this, but here it is. Look, congratulations, Jeffrey. But Ava does everything but her job. She wants to, set the law and put her foot on the ground and spread peanut butter on a bread and send a message and tell, Ethan, well, you got to do this and this. Meanwhile, there's been a lot of injustice going on for Jacy. Does absolutely none. Turns a blind eye and always irritates me. So, Ava, I do want to say here again, you, if I had to rank you as a GM, I would give you a B because I'm scared if I give you anything lower. And The Rock is a pretty big black man, and I'm not trying to piss that man off. And I do believe bald-head people are like kind of the strongest people out there. We talked about Chase U. I felt like I was promised Chase U would be gone. It was buried, and then it just rolled from the dead. I will say and say Andre Chase did have a point when he said y'all gonna have to toughen the F up. I believe that. You said when you spoke the word. I'm gonna have to get my charger here because I'm on 10% here. What was I gonna get at real quick? When he said that, I was like, yeah, cool. He actually has a point there. But then when the guy said, yeah, but that attitude is why it just went bankrupt, and I was like, that's also true. Now I'm conflicted. But carry on. Let's get to the main event. I'm gonna put my phone on the charger.
Well, that's why I rushed through all those segments so that now we can talk about the main event.
You did a
with
fantastic job.
Izzi Dame with Tatum in her quarter versus Miss Parker versus Jordan Grace versus Lash Legend. For the NXT Women's Championship #1 contenders match. It was a match of powerhouses, and some people were probably thinking, a match with 4 powerhouse type wrestlers. How is this going to go? Because we're used to seeing a powerhouse versus somebody that does a lot of high flying and jumping and crazy flips and all that stuff. This match brought the house down. Even though we didn't get a lot of women's action today, we got a good amount of women's action 2 nights. And of course, Fatal Influence did say earlier they were going to be watching to see.
I was so happy to see Jacy.
So they were watching from the top. More room for all of them, and that way nothing happened to them. So they were being smart with that.
I was very happy to see Jacy and friends out there. Good. Why don't you finish your thoughts? What did you think about this match?
I mean, it was good. There were some moments where I thought Jadia would win. Izzi would have like a shock of the century and win the match, which I would not have been too happy about because Izzi bores me. And there were a couple moments where I thought Lash would win. Jordan, I was like, it's 3 heels and 1 face, even though people say Jada's like a tweener. She acts like a heel.
I sometimes have to ask what she is because the way that crowd reacts to her, I get baby.
She's a heel that gets a baby face pop. I told this to Matt last week.
Absolutely. And then she does things, and I'm like, oh, right, she's a heel. Like when she knocked out Thea a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, right, she is a heel. I just sometimes forget just because that crowd and the way she reciprocates that reaction, too, because when she goes out there, she'll be like, I hear you, baby. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, but
she knows that people like her, and it's just from being her. So she's going to keep doing her, which works for her. And, of course, we get that.
For your ass, George. I got something for your ass. And it's not toilet tissue because he thinks he's so clever. We have someone, we have someone who thinks they could be funniest chat member of the year. And it will never be you, George. Matter of fact, George, you're in line for being in. Honestly, that was like top 5. That's like top 3 unfunniest thing of 2025. And it's a contender for top 3 2026 not funny thing because that's not funny, George. But carry on, Sabrina. I'm sorry. I told you was gonna get full bad guy tonight. Like I try to contain it, but no, I can't because George irritates me.
Listen, in wrestling, it is hard to contain yourself. That's why a lot of these people are, some of them are exaggerated versions of themselves or themselves, but just like 10, 20, 50, 100 fold.
Yep.
But there were a lot of crazy moments like that sunset flip Tower of Doom.
Matt, I'm sorry, Matt. What are you doing? I complimented you earlier. He said I thought it was funny. You know, Matt, I got some for your ass too, and it's definitely not toilet tissue. That sounds terrible when I said that out loud. Disregard every time I said that. But please take the floor.
I, anyways, this match was insane. I mean, that spot, that Tower of Doom spot had everybody shocked. Even Fatal Influence couldn't keep their composure. Their jaws dropped too. For a split second, they weren't in character. Like the jaws just dropped. They're like, but the match ended with a spin out Argentinian powerbomb from Jordan Grace onto Jada Parker to become the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. But at some point during the show, Soruka and Zarya come out from backstage and they grab Tatum and bring her to the backstage area so that she can't interfere or anything or scare anybody or something. And Izzy's just like, what the hell is happening?
Mhm.
What do you expect?
Um, I thought the match was cool. I thought the match was good. So, mind if I just drop a cheap plug here? We didn't do an episode this weekend, but on Big Pop, I was talking with one Shay Sawyer, and we were talking about like who could advance. This was before the Fatal Four Way. It was the one on one, and someone that she said that made me start to think like, oh, that would be a good pick was Lash Legend. I thought Lash Legend should have got the win here. She's been in NXT just as long as Jacy, and I think there's a story there with it. Jordan Grace. I mean, I don't think the match is going to be bad. I think the match is going to be fine. But Jordan Grace just had an opportunity. Uh, what last month she had an opportunity and lost.
Did
In this case, I don't see her winning because I definitely see Jacy retaining and carrying that belt to face Blake Monroe. So I'm just like, okay, and I would have went with Lash. I think Lash would have been cool. And another thing that was kind of giving me like thoughts that she might win, and maybe this is maybe I should have sit here and use my wrestling brain here. But she was saying something like, "Well, Atlanta, my hometown." I'm like, yeah, that would be cool for her.
even if she didn't win, they're gonna include her some way somehow, just like they're gonna include a lot of the NXT girls. I have a feeling they'll probably do like a little the
Mhm.
same thing they did in the first Evolution, which is have like a women's Royal Rumble type,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
Rumble type
I heard it.
match.
Yeah,
So that way, even if you're not in a match that's like stipulated for a championship or a storyline, you can still come in, show up, and show out.
yeah. No, I agree. I think that's where because I think you should have. I mean, a lot of those girls on NXT should be on that card. I think someone like Jada Parker should be on there. So Ruka, I definitely see her defending her championship. Zarya should be in a match.
Yeah, her only championship that she can talk about on TV.
I know, right? I mean, it's not going to be the speed belt.
Well, of
But
course, it's not going to be the speed belt. She can't even say it on TV. She can show it on TV now, but she can't say it, which is ridiculous. Why make a championship belt that revolves around
well,
being shown on social media if you can't put it out on TV? Because not everybody's going to watch a match on Twitter for 5 minutes.
that's true. I just wanted to touch on Mad Dog. He said, first off, I want to get on Mad Dog real quick because he thought George was funny. He laughed. I do want to point out something. We have a chat here, right? I know I'm running my mouth here a lot and stuff, but this is my homecoming. This is my day back. And everyone said, hey, just be yourself. And that is probably the worst thing you can ever tell me to do. But Mad Dog tried to be very funny. So I was off the chat for a few months, right? And what does Mad Dog do when he sees Bill Goldberg on TV? Hey, where's Jack? And then I'm added back to the group the day Bill Goldberg shows up. And I'm trying to figure out why does everyone hate me? And then I look and I sum up the chat because I'm saying, who has summons me back in the chat of the day Bill Goldberg shows up? That is the day I said, no one talks to me. I said that. And no one listened to me. And then I realized it was Mad Dog, the very guy. You got to be careful who you befriend here. in this world, because there's people who will say they're your friend and then they will kick you precisely in the dick. And yes, I felt like I got kicked in the dick. I felt like someone put a knife in the back of my back and someone played a Nick Cannon CD, and I have been all derailed since. I'm going to stop yelling because my cat is very scared. But I want everyone to know Mad Dog is not as nice as you think. That's it. I'm done.
No, you're fine. There was a
I
comment I
am
saw
fine.
on
Thank
there
you.
that
But it's
irked me
very
a little
upsetting.
bit.
Very upsetting to be brought back into this group when Bill Goldberg shows up. I should have took another few weeks. But seeing
Well,
JC saying this shit says
apparently,
I'm
this
pissed.
coming main event is going to be his retirement match. So we'll see if it's
I already
actually
got the balloons.
a retirement match.
I got the balloons. I got the tacos. I don't know why there's thumbtacks, but there's thumbtacks here too. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they're here.
No, but there is a comment that was said that I want to address.
Please.
Said that Mariah May should be in NXT for a year or two and that no need for a title run or to rush it. First of all, Kevin Owens, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. What do all three of these gentlemen have in common?
Won the title pretty damn quick.
They won titles fairly quickly when they got brought into NXT. So why is it okay for the men to do that, but not okay for the women to do that? Because they're not super big and muscular, because they're not a male, because they don't have
Oh,
down
Seth
hair?
saying no, she will. No, I think Seth made a typo. He's saying,
No.
yeah, well, he's saying I
That is
said
not
no, I
what
said
that
she
looked
will.
like to me.
I think it
It
was a
looked like
typo,
it
but
said
he's
no need
saying
for a title run.
just to correct, he's saying no, he's saying she will. It might have been a typo.
You're
I don't
going to
know.
have me go on a tangent here.
I know you was ready to go off. That's why I cut that bad boy down. I was like, no, he made a mistake.
Everybody knows I am an advocate, supporter, and passionate about women's wrestling because women get treated like crap enough as it is and everywhere. If I can
Um,
have somewhere to talk
uh,
about
yep.
a way where women can be shown and featured and demonstrated in a way for longer than 2 minutes in a male dominated industry, then so be it.
I do want to piggyback on what said the thing about said I definitely see her winning that championship. I remember there's another group chat I'm in, and I remember when we were talking, and it's so funny. Um, hey, look, wrestling subjective. I forget who wrote in the comments earlier, but they were like, "Hey, we all agreed this would be boring," and that's true. That would be very boring. But anyway, I put in this group chat. I was like, "Oh yeah, I see Melon Monroe winning. Melon Monroe. I'm so sorry. Blake Monroe winning the women's championship." And then someone said too soon. And I remember in the back of my head, I was thinking Ethan Page, Ricky Saint, and I'm just talking about recently. And I'm like, "Are we kidding here?" But whatever, I digress. I sit here and say, fine, whatever. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely see Monroe winning the championship. How long is she in NXT? I don't think she needs to be down there that long. I think someone like Ethan can already be called up. I think it's smart to wait until there's a slot open for him.
Jordan can have next.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean she's going to win. If Fallon and Jasmine are in her corner, it's not going to be easy.
Matt, I'm with you. I would love for Jacy to have a long run, but I'm also a realist. I don't think she's holding it for that long. I'm just happy that she is having her run. I'm seeing some Georgia saying Jacy Jayne's a transitional champion, but I'm really happy that she's having this run. I think she deserves it. She's been here for a long time, and I've even seen people, oh, just because she's been here for a long time. But look at all the stuff that she has gone through, like all the different, from Toxic Attraction. I mean, there's people who mix Toxic Attraction and Fatal Influence into two different groups, and that actually cracks me up when I hear that because I'm sitting there saying, just tell me that you're new to this thing called professional wrestling and I will sit here and educate you classes in session. Here's your dunce hat at the same time. Um, but she's been through so many different things, and I think it was about time that she got rewarded. And the fact that when you think about also too, there's been a lot of women who've been in the NXT locker room, and they never was able to hold the NXT Women's Championship, and she's able to do that, and she's also going to be in a match with Jordan Grace at Evolution. I think she's having the run of her life. So even if it's a short run, she's having her run. There's a lot of people who do wrestling and they don't get a run. She's getting that, and I sit here and say, as the Jacy Jayne guy, she very much deserved this moment. So even if it's short, I'm happy that is a thing. And also, there's 2K25s. Right now, she's held that title for 2 years in my mind. She beat Trish Stratus. She retired Trish Stratus, and now she's gonna fight Gamora from MCU. Maybe one day I'll book some of my stuff up here, and y'all get to see what I do if you give me the pencil and pen here. But NXT was fun. I'm glad to come back on a very fun episode, and we're gonna be back here again next week to talk some more NXT. So shout out to Jeffrey. I see you said yes. They're two different groups, and that always irritates me when people mix up groups like this new group that we have with Seth in them, and everyone kept calling them Evolution. And I'm trying to figure out who the F is Ric Flair in this group because I don't see it. Um, like I said, all these groups are different. I can see sometimes there's similarities in a way, but I think sometimes people just abuse like, oh, this, and this, because like they're all different. That's all I'm trying to get at. I'm sorry, running my mouth. Yeah, look, threw away the key.
Listen, that's what people come here to see. They come to see us run our mouth and be silly and goofy and all that fun stuff. But
oh, Jeffrey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. He's active for 2K25 stuff. If I have some time, I'll have some content up. And I'm looking at my first opponent should be George because George just irritates the hell out of me. I know you come in this chat to irritate me. George, let me tell you something. And I'm just going to come back to you. You know, I had to do my little wrestling promo thing, and I don't want anyone to interrupt me. George, you know, you don't think I know, but the times when I wasn't on air, I would be in the chat, and I would just mind my business. And I know you was calling me out, and you were saying things, but now I'm here. The rivalry, because I let you for the last 2 months carry on this rivalry, but it seems like I have to do all the work. Give me a mic, give me a taco, and you will be entertained. And George, oh George, your ass is mine. And I don't know why this whole fascination with your ass came up with, but yeah, your ass is mine. It's in a glass. It looks like George's ass.
well, I mean, a lot of people say that when they're going after somebody, whether they mean it in a certain way or not.
I
But
kind of, I
that
didn't like
is,
it. There was an old guy who once told me he wanted my ass. I didn't like that at all. But carry on.
I've heard that more than enough times to not like that either. But anyways, that is our program. That is the NXT show. We thank you all very much for sticking around and listening to us go on and rants, and me nearly going on another rant about women's wrestling, which
But you know what? That's what they love about you, Sabrina. So you are protective of women's wrestling. You know enough of the history and know that when women's wrestling was 20 years ago and how
well,
it's
I follow
evolved.
enough channels to help me.
Huh?
I followed enough channels, enough Instagram posts and social media to
Listen,
help me
I want to sit here and say,
expand my knowledge.
I don't want to speak too much for the chat, so please chime in here. But I like to believe that a lot of us in this chat, in this conversation that we're having, we're a fan of women's wrestling and that they deserve their own pay per view. I don't know why it took them so long. I don't have reasons.
So
But um,
wrestling, like many things, was a male dominated industry, and they were putting a lot of focus on men. And at times, women were having better matches than men. And a lot of them were told backstage, can you tone it down and not be better than the men in the ring? Basically, is what they were said. Can you just go back and do the match again, but do it quicker and not make it look as good?
there were times I remember one of the Bellas said this, and they were saying like their match, they probably had like maybe 7 minutes, and then it was cut to like a minute. So now we got this. Now we got women out there and they're outperforming the men. I look forward to Evolution. Maybe there'll be a review on that. I plan on trying to review that because when JC retains, I will be right here going.
You can review for the both of us because long before Evolution was planned on the day it was going to come out, I made plans and bought tickets for a concert that day. So I will not be able to watch it live as it happens. So I will watch it later when I am home. So
That is
I will be screaming like a fangirl over a boy band I used to watch on TV. So
George, you're not no damn final boss. You're the beginning. You're that one boss in the beginning stage. You matter of fact, you're the Goomba that Mario kills instantly in the first level. How dare you think that high of yourself? George, chill the F out, the final boss. You ain't no boss. You're just George. You just wear vests and spill peanut butter on it. You eat raisins out of a box. Don't mess with me, George. You're never gonna beat me. I can beat. Listen, I'm the kind of guy who can drown an octopus. That's how dangerous I am. So please stop embarrassing yourself before you get. My new finisher is the octopus stretch. I call it the hedgehog's quill. It's a fantastic move. I put it on my nephew a lot. But let's talk about these things. We have a lot of things going on here on Unpopular View. Sabrina, Estella, what are some of these things that are happening in the world of professional wrestling and entertainment? You want to take the floor here? You are Dr. Robotnik. I have the same haircut. Thank you.
Well, I mean, we do discuss all things wrestling, and not just us. We have multiple channels
We
and
do.
multiple shows happening. We have the Mike Knox show for the intelligent wrestling fan that happens on Mondays or Tuesdays at 6. I believe it's now Mondays, so
It's Mondays at 6
it's
p.m. I
sure.
think he moved. I think he moved back.
It's gone back and forth at times.
Hmm.
Then, of course, you have the Rated R Raw Review Show after Raw goes off the air with the executive consultant and Big Daddy Cool, and Steaming Willie Beamy makes an
I'm
appearance
that good.
at times. And then, of course, you have the AEW All Elite Heat podcast that they've decided to rebrand themselves as.
Ooh, heat.
Yes, with Cactus Katie and Venomous Minnie and the Sheriff. And
Ooh.
Mad Dog Kelly makes his appearances to spread the news. And then we also have top fives and our predictions on Thursdays whenever we do them, which apparently is now not a thing anymore, even though we've done them occasionally. But
Damn,
whatever
I've been
happens, it
gone that
happens.
long. What the
I don't
fuck?
know.
I've been gone that long. What the hell happened?
I don't know. Anyways, and then we also have the SmackDown Penitentiary
Hey.
discussing SmackDown on Sundays
Yep.
with the Z is Silent and Vic the Mark, our SmackDown wardens.
Shout out to those gentlemen. Z is in the chat right now. He said, "So dangerous." That's right. I've drowned an octopus. I know some of you guys look forward to hearing my terms and stuff, but I don't know how to tell you guys this. But I'm this generation's Nas, so when I say stuff, I just need you guys to just bob your head as I spit flow all these things. But shout out to Z. And Vic, I almost said Vinny. I'm sorry, we got two guys with V's in here, and I easily get confused by that. But they did a great job. They were on Sunday at, I want to say, like 1 p.m. This past week, it was him and Steaming Willie Beaming. So shout out to those gentlemen for covering SmackDown. So good stuff. Um, Entertainment wise, I feel like a lot of people are taking breaks here, but I do want to sit here and say that I am back here. I definitely came back because I knew that with Ironheart coming back, I need to come back. We are going to be reviewing that tomorrow. They have 3 episodes tonight. And I'm not staying up for all that because I'm in my mid 30s. I take naps. I can't sit here and stay up all night like that. And I have Autumn in my window just sitting there like she's back girl. But we're going to be reviewing that. I believe it's at 8 p.m. I think we're going to do the first 2 episodes, and then we're going to do um, episode 3 at a later date. So that's really all I got for entertainment. But once Sabrina Estella, you are doing amazing things. We have a prediction show this week. Okay, cool. So it's a prediction show. We have Matt Mad Dog and one uh, Big Daddy Cool. I'm sorry, there's a whole lot of fucking names. It's hard to keep up with these names, but there's a lot of great people here. So yes, Big Daddy Cool and Mad Dog. But you are doing so cool things here. I can't highlight the picture, but I'm so super proud of you. I mean, you are going to be on a panel with one NCAT we trust. I think that is fantastic. That is awesome, guys. I think this woman deserves a round of a freaking applause because I know you are going to kill it out there. And I'm very pumped for you. I wanted to be on last week to say these things, but internet always tries to hold me. The man tries to keep me down, but no one can keep me down because I am an ostrich or a peacock that flies. I'm a peacock that flies, damn it. So boom. But congratulations, one, Sabrina Estella. I'm stoked about it. I want you to take the damn floor. And I think everybody in that chat should sit here and hype this girl up because golly, you deserve it, damn it.
Why, thank you, thank you. Yes, I will be joining a panel with 5 other fabulous and very talented women in the wrestling scene for Florida SuperCon for women, the women up from the world, women run the world, the evolution of women's wrestling panel happening at SuperCon on Friday. I will be joined with, of course, Miss Katrina Storm and Cat We Trust. I'll also be joined by indie wrestler and NWA superstar Miss Ruthie J, a referee that I know that I've met at indie shows, namely Rosario. Xenia, who is a social media, I won't say she's an influencer, but she does have a social media presence, goes to a lot of shows, is
Oh,
very well known in the industry. And Janelle from HR, who has a podcast, which I did look into just to see because I wanted to be sure of who I would be joining. And I know most of the women, Janelle and Kat, are the only ones I haven't met, so I look forward to meeting them next month.
I met Janelle. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. I met her once or twice. I could count on my hand, but she was always very pleasant. And Katrina, I want you to tell her this when you see her that I I dominated her in Mortal Kombat. She's gonna make up lies and say something about her hands were sweaty and I don't know something about peanut butter in her nails. I don't know. But Katrina is a fantastic individual. She used to be here for Unpopular Review. Still a good friend of mine, and seen you guys link up. It brought a tear in my eye. But then I realized that it was just because Mr. Cat just scratched my big toe and I was bleeding profusely. Because what the fuck, man? But no, congratulations. But also too, you do stuff. You have a YouTube channel, so please plug that real quick.
Well, I do have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South to record wrestling matches and put them up on my channel. I did go to a couple shows a few weeks ago, and those videos will be put up on the air at some point in the future. I just can't do it right now. I don't want to get in trouble with the companies because I like going to those shows. But I did put up some videos of a show that I went to a month ago, a bar called Bar Wars, No Holds Barred.
Oh, cool.
Basically wrestling in a bar, and it was absolutely insane. So y'all can watch that. And I was watching from the comforts of the VIP area, which was just somewhere where it had chairs, so I didn't have to stand much.
All right, check you out. Okay, that is so cool. Look at you. She's doing some cool things there. Um, we took a little break last week, but
Don't forget to listen to this one's Big Pop Theory podcast, where you can on all social platforms where you can listen to podcasts.
I appreciate that plug. That was so much better than what I was going to even try to say there. We just did episode 100 last week. I'm very proud of that. We took a break last week. We should be back this week, but yeah, please give it a listen. It's the same flavor. One of the things I like to do when I do these shows, is one, I want to talk about something that I've loved for 20 something years, and have a conversation with you guys. So, like, hey, if you have an opportunity, give it a listen. It's the same flavor. Um, and also, Jeffrey, you also try to pretend to be my friend. When Jayne won the championship, I saw the tweet. Oh, I feel bad for Shay. What about me? You know how many times I have to deal every time Finn Balor, something happens with Finn and I get yelled at for it, like I had something to do with it, and no
More
one's
like
ever said
what's happening with
no,
him.
no one's ever said anything about poor bad guy, justice for Jack. Let's get this guy a taco. Nothing. No one has done
Listen,
any of
tell
that.
you
None of you
what,
guys.
whenever you are in town where I am at, I will buy you a taco to console you from everything that has happened regarding Shay and her love for Finn Balor.
Thank you. See, you understand me. I appreciate that.
I love you, Shay, and I understand how you feel with Finn because I feel the same way, but don't yell at Jack. It's not his fault that Triple H and Vince McMahon don't like him for the life of us and want to keep putting him in tag team gold, apparently, which he doesn't need, but that's besides the point.
Finn Balor will have his time in the sun. He will have his time in the sun. But I do want everyone to know that
And he will have his time once he throws Dirty Dom. But that's the end of our show.
I'm so sorry about that. The phone. Can you hear me still? Can I be heard? All right, cool. But yeah, that's really the show because I'm not trying to have any more phone calls interrupt. But I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you for making this homecoming fantastic. So thank you.